Good evening, colleagues. Can we please be seated? Good evening, colleagues. Wow, what a wonderful crowd. Thank you, colleagues. Colleagues, we want to start the business of today. My name is Vuisa, surname is Daile. I'm working for the Department of Small Business Development. Thank you so much for coming. We want to commence with the proceedings of today. Just want to check if the national anthem is ready there. She will indicate when she's ready. Colleagues, may I please, all of us, please to rise as we hear the national anthem.
Sounds the call to come together, and united we shall stand. Let us live and strive for freedom in South Africa.
Once again, good evening, Honorable Minister. Good evening, Honorable Members. Good evening, MMC. Good evening, HOD. Evening, DG. Good evening to everyone. Thank you so much, colleagues, once again. There is someone who's going to give us an official welcome, but I just wanted to say two things. The first one is that the founders of our constitution made sure that as one of the hallmarks of our democracy, there must be public consultations because they firmly believe in participatory democracy. We are here on a consultation for business licensing, and we want to make sure that it is a product of all of us. So thank you so much for really coming in these numbers, and the reception has been very warm, and I hope that the discussions are going to be even warmer. The minister asked us to read the preamble because everything that we are going to do is going to be centered in this preamble of our constitution. It reads, before I call the MMC, we, the people. Okay. Can we please open the preamble of our constitution on your phones? And colleagues will also help us and flight it so that all of us read it. Can you please flight it? The gentleman at the back is having earphones. Yes, can you please flight the preamble of South African Constitution? Just write preamble, it's gonna appear. I think some of us who are reading it are getting excited already. Make it bigger, please. Colleagues, can we please stand up? What's happening now? We're gonna start on 3, 1, 2, 3. Respect those who have worked to build and develop our country and believe that South Africa belongs to all who live in it. United in our diversity, we therefore, through our freely elected representatives, adopt this constitution as the supreme law of the Republic, so as to heal the divisions of the past and establish a society based on democratic values, social justice, and fundamental human rights. Lay the foundations for a democratic and open society in which government is based on the will of the people and every citizen is equally protected by the law. Improve the quality of life of all citizens and free the potential of each person, and build a united and democratic South Africa able to take its rightful place as a sovereign state in the family of nations. Thank you so much, colleagues. May you give yourselves a good round of applause. Thank you to our Constitution. Now we are going to run with speed and call MMC for Finance in the Western Cape, Mr. Siseko Mbandes.
Thank you, Program Director. I'm not MMC for Western Cape, no? For Cape Town, yeah. Abantu baseJoburg bathanda uthi Cape Town and Western Cape. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Minister Stella Ndabeni. And good evening also to those who are joining us from the teams of Skype or YouTube. And also good evening to everyone who's here today. And good evening to my colleagues. I've seen that some of my colleagues are here as well. So good evening. And good evening to the officials, DDG, DG, and so on. All protocol observed. Look, I want to say, Minister and your team and everybody who's here today, you are indeed welcome in the city of Cape Town. And also thanks for the opportunity to engage on the bill. And we really appreciate the extension that has come through. And I must also say that the city of Cape Town, in this particular administration, in this particular term, under the Executive Mayor Jordan Hill Lewis, we had identified early, beginning of the term, the need to intervene where we are able to intervene as the municipality around the issues of business, small business, and obviously business licenses. And we have identified that matter to a point that we have established a Section 79 Portfolio Committee, which is an oversight committee called Easy Doing Business. So part of what it does, it looks at all the processes that business people need to undergo, in particular around the environment of the municipality, and seek to intervene so that the processes of acquiring a license to operate, it is shortened, cutting red tape in the Western Province Department, I think you call it red tape, cut red tape. So part of what we we have done, therefore, is that portfolio is to look at all these processes, being from the planning point of view, fire, health, business processes and all of that, to say, what is it that we must take out of the process so that it becomes simpler and easier for a business person to acquire licenses in the city of Cape Town. So we have done that and we are proud of that. Because indeed we've made many of the interventions that were necessary. Because we don't believe in the bureaucratic processes for people to be able to earn a living, for people to be able to employ somebody. So we have done that in the city of Cape Town. Therefore, we are very proud of that and we welcome that. Because I think fundamentally, for any business person to strive, as I've indicated, the process needs to be shortened and cut. And therefore, we hope and want to emphasize, Minister, as well as we've done the submission on the bill, that fundamentally to this, we should not strive to create more administrative processes on top of the processes that are there. That's our submission, precisely because we're practicing it here, we know it. And where we are able to cut that, we do. But unfortunately, where you are handicapped because of legislation, you can't. Okay? So that's our first point of a submission, that let us try to cut those processes. Precisely because the planning and development process, remember itself, it is a process. I fortunately seated the planning appeals, and I know that it is a process. It's 8 to 10 months process, if there are appeals and everything else. But ideally, we want it to be done in less than a month. And then after that, there's health and operation. After that, there's fire. That's not ideal for a business, a situation to strive. Therefore, we believe, at the city of Cape Town, in cutting the red tapes. We believe in cutting over-regulation of the processes. We believe in easy doing business so that people are able to earn a living. Because the best thing that we can do for our people is to give them an opportunity to earn a living. There's no freedom better than that freedom. You can have all the freedoms, but if you don't have an ability to earn a living for yourself and your family, then the freedom that you see is through the window. We don't believe in that. So therefore, Minister, in those words, I welcome you and your team in Cape Town, and indeed urge people on YouTube and Teams and all of that, and those that are sitting here, that let us have an engagement. Let's talk about this bill, and let's be critique of it so that the end product of it speaks to what you aspire as business people. The end product needs to speak to that. The end product should never be a hindrance. The end product should be a catalyst for you to be able to create an opportunity for yourself and your family. With those words, Sister Stella Dabini and your team, you are welcome in Cape Town. So that the end product speaks to what you aspire as business people. The end product needs to speak to that.
Thank you so much,
The end product should
MMC.
never be a hindrance.
And thank you so much once
The
again
end
for that
product should be a
submission.
catalyst for you,
Minister,
to be
we
able
are
to
aligned with
an
the city
opportunity
of
for
Western
yourself and
Cape,
your
of
With those
Cape
words,
Town.
Sister Stella Dabini and your team, you are welcome.
Thank you so much.
So that the
Thank you so
end
much.
product speaks to what you
Colleagues,
aspire
we are now
as
going to
business
call the minister to set the scene.
The end product needs to
I
speak
promise
to
you
that.
won't thank you so
Lots
much,
of end product
MMC.
should never be a hindrance.
And thank you so
We're going
much
to have
once
engagement.
again
End
for that
product should be a
submission and
catalyst
vision.
for you,
Minister
to
is
be
going
able
to
to
set the
create
scene for us with
an
the city.
opportunity
Thank you
for
so
yourself
much,
and your
Minister
family. With
of
those
Cape
words,
Town.
Sister Stella Dabini and your team, you are welcome.
Okay. Thank you so much, Director of the Program. Allow me to take this opportunity and greet my boss over there, Honorable Kruger, the member of the Portfolio Committee, Yes, of small business development. Otherwise, my budget is not going to be approved if I don't do that. Greet the stakeholders here. Of course, the MMC, Alderman, welcomed us. The Director General and all the government officials that are here. The HOD, I don't see. Okay, she's hiding somewhere. All the important guests that are here today and those that have joined us online. Firstly, let me apologize that we're joining you a bit later. We were messed up by the air delays on the flight, and we did say the message must be conveyed. It is not because we disrespect you. But most importantly, I would like to take this opportunity to thank all of you that have made it here. Earlier on, the DDG, or the director of the program, requested us to read the preamble of the Constitution. And I always say this because it is these things that we take for granted that can influence how we think and do things. Because most of the people in South Africa, they brag about having the best constitution, but secondly, they also take pride that we don't do anything that is unconstitutional. We respect the constitution of our country. But when it comes to the actual authorization of the things that must be done to give effect to what the constitution talks about, then people are found wanting and saying contradictory things. So the preamble that was read here is the basis of why we find ourselves here as part of the engagement with the business licensing bill that we had gazetted as the department. Section 22 of the Constitution, I don't know if you know it. President. Do you know Section 22? How many entrepreneurs do we have in the house? Business associations. All right, Section 22 is very important for you to understand because it is the clause that talks in particular on the right to trade. I would like to read it as it is written because there's the last part that gives effect to what we are doing here today. And when I do that, don't think it is me trying to be funny. It is me trying to remind all of us about the constitutional obligations that we have. Section 22 reads as follows. Every citizen has the right to choose their trade, occupation, or profession freely. Keyword, citizen. Every citizen. The practice of a trade, occupation, or profession may be regulated by law. And most people who abuse this clause, they don't read it in its entirety, which is why at times you'll find that there are challenges in our communities where people believe that, no, our constitution says everyone has the right to trade. And they don't read that to the latter, reference to the citizen, and all the legislations of this country, including the constitution, they tell you who is a citizen in our country. It's not anyone who's in this country, but a citizen. It is the constitution that we're quoting about. But it also says, although you have that right to choose your own trade, that trade may be regulated. And the regulation aspect is these different pieces of legislation that we are putting in place in order to protect the citizens that must trade. So we are here today to engage with the process of trying to repeal the current existing Businesses Act of 1991, which gave certain responsibilities to different spheres of government. Of course, the department that I'm currently responsible for was only established in 2014. Now, you will not expect a Businesses Act to make reference to a department that was founded in 2014 and the Businesses Act is of 1991. Whether you're going to be talking about the Immigration Act, Section 22 again, that will be talking to who can get a business visa if one is a non-South African. It clearly tells on the process that must be determined by the Minister of Home Affairs and the Minister of GTIC, because then There was no Department of Small Business Development until 2014. This is why in the National Small Enterprise Act we said, when the power was transferred to us, we then said, we've got to do the right thing of giving the department a legal standing to be able to intervene on certain things. As we scrutinize the pieces of legislation that govern the trade aspect in relation to the constituency that we are responsible for, then we said the Businesses Act that we have does not respond to the challenges that are faced today. One of the things that is highlighted in the Businesses Act, registration, everything of businesses done by Alderman and his team in the municipalities. And you find people complaining, whether they complain of oversaturation of certain businesses in their areas, because the municipalities themselves cannot tell you who is trading in their areas. They don't know. And where they do know, they would use that Businesses Act to undermine the efforts of those that want to trade. Use it to exclude others or to generate revenue, which is why they will put higher costs for compliance in terms of the permit or the license with the intention that is not clearly written, we don't want you here. Now, how do you deal with that? Now, a department that is established, you have a responsibility to say, there's a need for us to mainstream or streamline the process, as people are saying, it takes too long. Government, we do want to be compliant, but it takes too long even when I have to register my business and get the permit or the license that I'm supposed to get. But on top of that, it is costly to do that. Now, the department that I'm responsible for, as I said, I know most of you, they say, it's the Department of Small Business. It's the Department of Small Business Development. This is when the development aspect of the function of the department must kick in to assist small businesses with the compliance amongst other interventions. Because if you are to develop those businesses, you've got to make sure that they trade within the legal framework, they are compliant, they have access to the support that they must get, financial and non-financial, they must have access to markets. Because to just put them far away from the market, you're not developing or assisting them. So it means you've got to come up with certain things and say, this Businesses Act that is being used is not assisting our small businesses. That is why when we took over, we had road shows throughout the country. We engaged with the different segments that we are responsible for in order to get a sense, both in terms of how we offer the solutions, but also in terms of understanding the legal framework that others refer to at times as the red tape that everybody talks about, but they will never give you the specifics of the red tape. So, trying to repeal the Businesses Act is what we had introduced. The process from policy tabled in cabinet, approved, to the culmination of the draft bill that we gazetted. I don't know if it's witchcraft or what, Honorable Crocker. Entrepreneurs do not like engaging on the policy development until it hits them when the municipality or whoever authority says, we can't give you money, we can't find you if you are blacklisted. And then people begin to complain, you know our backgrounds, hey. But there was a law that was developed. There's a law that exists. And majority participated and supported that. You were smart, busy making money because you're a hustler. You didn't think that this law is going to catch up with you. Or when the councillor calls you to a meeting, you don't attend because, my councillor is for those ones that are looking for jobs. We're better, we're hustlers, we're looking for money. And you undermine that, and then bylaws get to be introduced. And consultation is undertaken, it then gets to be adopted by a council. You do not even see the need to participate on the LED forums, whilst you know that your government has agreed to the policy of local economic development, which prioritizes you as the local entrepreneur. You don't even know what does the policy say? don't know what are the strategies, you don't participate in the forum, and then they come and put waterfront mall, and then you're like, they're taking over our business, they were excluded, we can't afford the rent, because you failed to play your part in influencing the direction that must develop the economy of this area that you are based in. Now, we are saying we've got to streamline these processes that talks to permitting or licensing. We've got to have uniform standards so that we know that our people, the entrepreneurs, are not excluded because we are using the law to punish them. We come from that past, we know. But one thing that I know is confident of the future, that this law must work for our people. And the only way for the law to work for the people is when the people participate in the law. Now, you will then agree with me that we have very fragmented ecosystem, which is why from our side we said, we've got to understand that when developing legislation as government, we're not doing that for us as government. The legislations must talk to the people that give us the authority to govern or be in parliament. It shouldn't be inward looking, which means you need all the role players of the ecosystem, which is why we came up with the National Integrated Small Enterprise Development Framework that looks at all the aspects, whether you are a financier or a funding institution, whether you are a market person, all the critical aspects, local sphere, traditional leaders, and everyone. And I did say all of this is meant to deal with what? You streamline the process, you standardize so that you don't use it to punish others, but most importantly, you use it in order to reduce the red tape. Because once each council sits and say, this is how I'm going to do things, and the other comes, there goes an opportunity to develop entrepreneurs. But it's different things, which is why we have learned now, President, as we were visiting the spaza shops, amongst others, for the purposes of registration, you then discover that some municipalities do not even have digitized system to register the same spaza shops. It is still a manual process. And when we conducted a study in terms of who occupies these units in the municipalities in terms of the LED, because that's where the work is anchored on the LED unit, you do find people are responsible for licensing, but they know nothing about licensing. It is the reality that we have, because the function has been abandoned in certain areas, and some use this unit as a dumping zone. Those that are councillors will know it. When they get appointed, when they're going to go to the mayoral committee, they want infrastructure, they want finance. Those are the big portfolios they're looking at. They don't think that you can influence everything on LED. Because when you are the MMC for LED, you influence how budgeting must go, how special planning must be undertaken, how infrastructure must be deployed. And the only way to do that is when you have a functional LED forum with entrepreneurs that are participating in it, but having the entire ecosystem, as I indicated. So we're here to engage with yourselves on those key areas, including identifying and trying to give quotas, if you want to put it, or set aside, give effect to the regulation of non-South Africans that have a right to trade. Did you hear me? Non-South Africans that have a right to trade. Because not all have a right to trade. The Immigration Act, administered by the Department of Home Affairs, clearly articulates, if you are a non-South African that wants to do trade in South Africa, you must invest at least 5 million rands. That was in 2015 by Minister Rob Davies. We are going to review that. I'm telling you now, the department is here. Invest 5 million at least for you to get a business visa. Now, you may be in South Africa legally, because this is another challenge that we are looking at addressing. You may be here legally, but your permit says you're here on a work permit. You are here to study, you are here to conduct this and that, for as long as it is not a business visa, you do not have a right to trade. It then takes you again to, yes, ngoba sizobamba abantu abaninzi. It then prescribes to say any citizen or anyone who will be found aiding a non-South African that violates the visa regulations is committing an offense, and then the penalty can go up to 12 months imprisonment. It is not me saying that. It is the Constitution that we like and the legal prescripts in terms of the Department of Home Affairs. Now, there's the need for all of us to say, we have said other people are coming here, of course, with good intentions. Others, they are forced because the political climate in their countries is not doing well. Others are here with scarce skills that we need. How do we learn to coexist? Because we are global citizens, but that has to be regulated. Now, the department responsible for that is Home Affairs and Department of Employment and Labor that must look into the people that are working in the companies. Mine is to regulate this through the businesses licensing bill that I'm introducing, to say what quotas of certain segments of businesses can be reserved. I'm sure you have seen Lesotho, you've seen Botswana, where they said no one who's not coming from our country is going to run a salon or a spaza shop. And I saw people saying, hey, you see these ones? Hey, because they are bought by the Pakistani, they can't come up with anything. Because we are law-abiding citizens and leadership, we have a responsibility to make sure that we protect the Constitution, but we also protect the citizens of our country, which is why this bill becomes critical to say, how do we then regulate that to say, in this segment, non-South Africans can participate in the particular municipality. So this is why you are here, creating that environment that aligns from the local, district, provincial, and national sphere. And of course, we've got to establish coordinating committees to support the implementation of this across all spheres. Not do what we did, that, okay, municipalities are going to be responsible for this permitting without transferring the resources that must assist the municipalities. Just like if you look at the National Health Act, that transferred the function of the health inspectors to municipalities without capacitating or putting certain resources to enable the municipality to have that capability to say, if we have registered businesses and we want our people to trade freely, but also our people must be compliant in terms of the health standards or environmental standards, these are the inspections that we're going to conduct periodically, whatever time that they agree with. The functionality could not take place, although the function was transferred because the capability is not there. So we're trying to balance to say, as we pass the laws, we get to review what works, what does not work, and then strengthen what works to make sure that our citizens can get what they need to get in terms of their rights that are regulated. So we all have a responsibility as we're gathered here and those that are in the virtual platform to ensure that the final legislation that will come out of these consultations protects the rights of entrepreneurs, especially informal traders. We have that responsibility to make sure that this bill must address that. It must also respect provincial and municipal autonomy while promoting national coherence. We are not here to say we're taking away the function from the municipality or the provinces. That's why the program director started by talking about that participatory and collaborative government that we have in the system that is embedded in our own constitution. Hence, we talk of cooperative government. So we've got to make sure that even this bill seeks to have that by putting relevant instruments that must give effect on that. We've got to make sure that the final legislation embraces digital innovation, reduces red tape, and improve service delivery. We're living in the digital society. I don't have to tell you that you know it. You get so frustrated when electricity is out because your Wi-Fi speed is going to be affected because you want to offer the trade that you offer or you want to gossip, whatever you do. When you use internet, there are those that use internet to make profit. And all of those are important to say, how do we anchor this system to utilize the digital instruments so that we're able to improve service delivery, the efficiency of SITFA, the efficiency of NEF and the many other DFIs. Right now, people complain, the turnaround times, you guys take too long, even when you have applied, you have met all your compliance, but hey, even after approval, it will take 6 months to disperse. It's the reality, which is why the first mandate that we've given to the new executives at SITFA is that digitize or automate your systems so that you eliminate the waste within the processes that we have. And this bill must enhance that. Again, it must start to level the playing field for township and rural entrepreneurs and informal micro enterprises. And most importantly, it must create an enabling environment for MSMEs to thrive. Therefore, we're not adding to the loss of red tape that we have, but we're trying to streamline so that it's one process that even when you go online to apply, it is easy, the framework guides you to a point that when we deploy artificial intelligence, it can be customized to your own language because people have a right to trade in their own languages. But if we're not enabling those, we'll not be able to achieve all of that. So, colleagues, thank you so much. I'm here to listen to yourselves. That's the short story from the department.
Thank you so much, Minister. Colleagues, can we please clap for the Minister again? I see the HOD is already here. Thank you so much, HOD. Please come.
Thank you very much. I think after that very powerful speech of the ministers, I'm going to be incredibly short because I think really the issue of why you're here is really to talk about the proposed bill. But I was asked to do a bit of a context around the Western Cape and what we're doing, where we were, where we're going to, what we're aiming to do, and how we're aiming to do it. So I'll just spend a few minutes, I have a set of slides. I'll go through them really quickly and then just maybe pause on the ones that I think are relevant. But my name is Joanne Johnston. I'm head of department for the Department of Economic Development and Tourism. I have some of my colleagues here from the Department of the Premier as well as DDAT. But I'd also like to acknowledge the Minister, Honourable Member Kruger, the DG, the Alderman from the City of Cape Town, and the senior officials. But most importantly is the entrepreneurs and the NGOs that are here, both online as well as physically present. So we went through a process a couple of years ago to develop our Growth for Jobs strategy. And effectively, we looked at quite a lot of the national documents to identify actually what problem are we trying to solve. We have a high unemployment rate. But through the analysis and research that came from TIPS, or some of the national think tanks, was really, our problem is really sourced or stems from a lack of sufficient economic growth. And that speaks to a key point that usually you hear from small business. Market access. I can't find markets. So if you grow your markets, what happens? You expand. When you expand, you employ more people. So the source of our problem is insufficient GDP growth. And part of the problem, when we say it's insufficient, we often talk about jobless growth. It's not jobless growth. We have about 1% increase in our job, in our labor market. So every year, all the matriculants come on board, and there isn't sufficient jobs to absorb them, plus the unemployed. So our problem, and for every 1% GDP growth, you add 0.6% in terms of employment. So our problem is not that we have jobless growth, that we're not growing fast enough. And this is what the National Development Plan has also identified as the key problem. So, as a result, our vision is basically we'll be a provincial economy that achieves breakout economic growth. We're not separate from South Africa, so we have to do this with national and our colleagues in other provinces. And that our goal is that we'll be a trillion rand inclusive economy, because it's also the nature of the way you grow that's important, and growing between 4 to 6% per annum. Again, that is straight from the NDP. We are absolutely aligned to the objectives and goals in the National Development Plan. Effectively, we've got 3 pillars. It's really one about how do we enable the business environment, and there's a strong emphasis there on ease of doing business. So how do we make it easier for you as entrepreneurs and NGOs to grow, to feel supported, to be supported? And then, of course, it's how do we make sure that you access your markets, that you get the investment, that if there's a growth opportunity, everybody is enabled to actually pursue them. We've got 7 what we call priority focus areas. It stretches across making sure that all the key things that enable business is addressed. So energy 2 years ago was a major thing. It really constrained businesses, resulted in a lot of business closures. We need to address that, and that's what we're doing. Same thing with water, and the same thing with a lot of other key fundamentals that are important to entrepreneurs. We have a target for each of these PFAs. I won't go into it, but the one that particularly pertains to entrepreneurs is making sure that all citizens wanting to be economically active have better access to those opportunities and employability. So there's flagship interventions, there's a number of ones that talk to the objectives that the bill tries to address. So one includes, for example, stimulating the township economy, and then of course it's about driving venture capital and ramping up tech skills. So all of these things that pertain is how these catalyze actually towards our goals. And if we achieve that, according to our projections, if we achieve the 1 trillion rand economy, we will, by 2035, create 600,000 jobs in the Western Cape. Right, so, wow. So I wanted to just go unpack a little bit what we mean by priority, particularly around improved access to economic opportunities and employability. This is also understanding the problem, and it's not putting a bandage, right? It's how do you structurally and systemically address the core challenges that face entrepreneurs. And this is the most powerful picture in our 198-page document of the strategy. This is the most important picture that we have. Because the picture on your left-hand side shows where the economic activity happens in terms of employment density. The picture on your right-hand side shows where people live. And fundamentally, if as entrepreneurs, you are trying to grow your business, the economic activity is actually happening on your right-hand side. You're living far from it. And that already starts to constrain your ability to grow and be sustainable. So we fundamentally understand that, and that's what we're trying to incorporate into our interventions. We also have a picture of success. I'm not going to go into it because of time, but there are quite a number of key issues that talk to, for example, making sure that the township economy is vibrant and dynamic places of opportunity, and then also about how we support businesses going forward. This is a theory of change. I know that some of us are familiar because there were definitely people in this room that, as we were going through this theory of change, they contributed to it. But it's, again, understanding at core, what the problems are, and then how to actually try and fix it. And then we've identified, for example, enhancing, how do we enhance entrepreneurship pathways? And some of the fundamentals is, for example, how do you develop school-based collaborative programs to expose our youth to entrepreneurs? As opposed to doing sort of add-on little programs, it's how do we continue doing the additional sort of top-up programs, but fundamentally make sure all kids, all our youth, are exposed and have access to entrepreneurship training and skills. So that's what we mean by systemic. We also took a very holistic approach to business growth. So we've done a business growth stages, because entrepreneurs progress, right? Your needs, even if you have financing needs before you start up, when you're starting up, is very different from the financing you require when you want to start exporting or you want to expand. And so it's making sure that when we talk about business support, that it's nuanced depending on your particular needs, your sectors, and your stage of growth. And that's unpacked. So when we look at our strategy and how that lands, it's actually saying, when we talk, for example, about energy, what does it actually mean for you depending on where you are and what sector you are? So again, it's trying to make sure that we have a differentiated approach so that we can meet the needs of the entrepreneur. So I was asked to do a little bit of an overview of our economy. And what we do is we track every quarter, depending on the stats that we get from Stats SA and other sources, national sources, around where we are with our goals. Now, it's not to say we do this and then tomorrow something's going to happen, right? Because we know, for example, that if we address, I don't know, give me an example, and I've gone for lots of it. Let's say we address the regulations around the ports, right? So ports is a bit of constraint at the moment. And we're working, for example, with a lot of the informal truckers associations. And so if we resolve that, we know that we support those informal trucker businesses, right? And there's a lot of them, and they struggle. But so if you try and do something at the ports today, you may not necessarily see the immediate impact, because sometimes it's indirect. But we keep track of this to say, how are we doing? So that there's some degree of credibility. We know that we're making progress, and we see we're not making progress over a period of time. We know that we have to do a course correct. So we track all of this. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but see, we track the cargoes, we track the value of exports, unemployment rate, youth unemployment rate, and needs. But I think this is the most important slide of our analysis. So in 2022, last quarter, we had 326,000 SMEs. We grew by nearly 55,000 over a period of about 2 years. That's a signal of confidence. That's a signal that people are seeing opportunity sufficient enough for them to actually have a business and continue and sustain it. So it's a positive. We've got these statistics from national. But I think the key thing is we have a target of saying we want to grow our T rate, total entrepreneurial rate, by 5%. But it's useless just establishing a business. You need to sustain it. And I think the idea is always making sure that we have, one, not only provide support, but businesses are aware of the support. And the engagement that we'd like to have with the National Minister is really, and the department, is whatever emerges from the bill is, does this make it easier for business? And does this make it easier for us to provide the support? Because we know that government and NGOs provide a whole range of support measures, but often SMEs may not necessarily be aware of them. And even if they're aware of them, they sometimes have difficulty in accessing them properly because of a variety of reasons. So we're looking forward to the engagement going forward. We thank the National Minister and the Department for inviting us here, and I think the sheer presence, the good support and the turnout is a signal of how relevant people are finding the bill, and that I am no doubt that the consultation will emerge with a stronger bill and process. Thank you very much, Minister and DG.
Thank you so much. All protocols observed, Minister, DGD. I want to ask if you could please have that email to us. You know, we are about 95,000 informal traders in Cape Town alone. So obviously, when I look at your statistics, you're definitely not including us. But we'll be talking about that later. Please email it to me. I do know your email address, so I'll be following up on that. And that is for the informal traders, because we will put it in on our platforms. And many of them here tonight, so that is for them. Thank you so much, Jan.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, HOD. Colleagues, HOD has a very important occasion to attend, and she took time just to be here. Can we please give a big, big round of applause? Happy birthday to your mom, HOD. Colleagues, we now have the last speech. And I hope HOD, Mr. Masinge, answers that question. Will this bill make business easier for small businesses? Thank you. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Program Director, DDG. And thank you, Minister, for gracing us with your presence. I know that in many instances, we normally have this engagement with the province without you, but today you are with us here, and we really appreciate that you are engaging with us here. And good evening, DG. We really appreciate that you are here for gracing us with your presence. And I would like also to acknowledge the MMC of Finance. I'm just waiting for the presentation to go up so that I can just point you to the provisions that the minister was talking about. I think my job now it's easier because the minister has already spoken about everything that is in that presentation. So it's not going to be very difficult, and it's going to be very short. Can you please help? Yeah. Okay. I think whilst he's doing that, I'll simply go to the slide that really talks about the historical context. The minister already spoken about the Business Act of 1991. If one was to count the number of years, you can tell that this bill is 34 years old. And it's only left with almost 1 year to transition over the hill of the the youth category, if I may put it that way. So it's about to exit the youth category. Secondly, the bill was, the Business Act was developed at the time when the provinces were only 4. Now we are talking about 9 provinces. So what the minister was saying is that there are enough reasons for us to then repeal this Business Act, because it is clear that I think it's outdated. So we don't have to really hesitate to then have a look at reforming this legislation. So now we have a responsibility to then deal with the Business Act of 1991 and move to the Business Licensing Bill of 2025. I'm still waiting for the presentation to come up, because I'm going to leave you behind if I don't show the slides that are here. But I think there are technical challenges here. But I think whilst he's still fixing that, I'll say that the minister already touched on my presentation in terms of the establishment of the department in 2014. And in 2020, the president has made a proclamation that the Business Act must reside within the Department of Small Business Development. The proclamation was really moving the Business Act of 1991 from the DTIC to the Department of Small Business Development. So basically what I was saying before the slides came up, I was talking to this. So now that we had the assignment was with us, now we have moved with the process of developing the Business Licensing Bill of 2025. This was preceded by the policy which was approved in May 28 of 2025. So I think the minister already covered this part of the constitutional alignment. It's very clear. I will not even touch this section because it was properly, articulated. I think now we're talking about the legislative reform. The minister already spoken about this. The streamlining of licensing procedures, reducing administrative burdens, which is the red tape that we're talking about. The bill also really wants to ensure that all business operators, including foreign national, meet the standardized requirements with strong compliance enforcement. I think this was well articulated. The bill talks about preferential licensing provision to promote small enterprises. I think we have heard that clearly that this bill intends to do that, and the Business Act of 1991 did not really embrace this. What are the challenges that the Business Licensing Bill is trying to address? I think this has been well articulated, that you're trying to standardize, to deal with outdated provisions, to deal with unregulated informal sector, and ensure that everyone comply, so that there must be development in that sector, because we don't want to leave anyone behind. We are talking that the Business Act did not really support MSMEs. There were limited lack of enforcement mechanisms. How do we then make a comparison between the Business Licensing Bill and the Business Act of 1991. What are the key features that one can look into? The sector listing, which when we talk about the fixed list in Schedule 1 of the bill, the Business Act of 1991 was only dealing with 3 items: the meals, perishable foodstuff, and entertainment. Now, with the Business Licensing Bill, we are saying there must be dynamic designation, meaning that we will have to then look into other sectors apart from the meals, perishable foodstuff, and entertainment. You can imagine that if only we are dealing with these 3 items, I don't think the economy can grow if we have to focus only on this. So in terms of the scope, the Business Act was only focusing on these 3 items, and the Business Licensing Bill will already focus on broader economic inclusion. The Business Act was not a little bit flexible, was static. The Business Licensing Bill, it's responsive to evolving technology needs, including the technologies that are emerging. I think the minister spoke about the issues of artificial intelligence, the issues of robotics, and so forth. So this is where we are going with the Business Licensing Bill. We are also looking at designated trading areas. We are also looking at the risk-based regulation. So these are the issues that the Business Act will be bringing on the 4th. And then when we look at the governance part of it, the Business Act was was more focused on locally authority-driven governance, whereas the Business Act of Business Licensing Bill focus on national framework governance, cooperative governance. What are the fundamental shifts between the Business Licensing Bill and the Business Act? We are looking at closing the fragmentation and ensure that there's uniformity. We are looking at preferential treatment for MSMEs. We are looking at exactly what the minister was saying in terms of inclusion of foreign nationals that are legally eligible to trade. And we are talking about the issues of cooperative governance because of the concurrent functions between national, provincial, and local government. We are also focusing more on issues of digital transformation and ensure that there's stronger enforcement within the compliance mechanisms. In terms of the clauses that, as already has been articulated, that we are going to be, having concurrent functions as stipulated by the Constitution. So there are responsibilities that are more focused on national. Clause 11 of the bill speaks directly to that, and clause 14 also speaks to that the minister may actually deal with the issues of burdensome licensing practices. I think, Proctor Director, I'm responding to your question as to whether the bill will really embrace issues of ease of doing business. So the bill really talks directly to that, and the minister will able to recommend to state organs in terms of the burdensome licensing practices. And the minister may able to then standardize in terms of the regulations. What can the province do? The province may able to enact their own legislations. They may able to prescribe their own regulations and directives. So this will be done in a form of a consultative process. It's not going to be an instruction that will just come without really focusing on consultation. What are the powers that the municipalities do have in terms of clause 16? municipalities will able to designate exclusive trading areas for small businesses. What are the issues that can be documented there? It's issues of economic growth and so forth. The minister already spoke about the not knowing how many small businesses are operating within your jurisdiction as a municipality. Clause 17 respond to that to say that we are going to ensure that there's business licensing database that will allow us to maintain a comprehensive business record to ensure that there's transparency and planning. And the municipalities will be allowed to enact their own bylaws. At the same time, ensure that they grant authority in relation to street trading, whether to prohibit or to grant. What are the compliance mechanisms and penalties that may be, observed? The business licensing bill talks about municipalities having to appoint authorized officers to monitor compliance and ensure that there's enforcement. In terms of inspection, inspectors will be allowed to conduct inspection and investigate complaints. And the bill further provides compliance notices and penalties which may not be above 10,000. In terms of when you are not satisfied about how the outcomes of your applications went about, we are making a provision for municipalities to establish internal appeal authorities where licensing complaints and compliance can be efficiently and fairly dealt with, and the appeal processes to ensure that there's fair and transparent review of those disputes. And the bill further make provision for municipalities to train the staff that will be handling these appeals. In terms of the impact on business, on operations and businesses, the business licensing bill makes a provision that one can actually apply for a license from 1 to 5 years. Currently, as it stands, in many cases, you find that you will have to renew a license each and every year, which really cannot provide for certainty. If a license can be more than a year to 5 years, really can provide a level of certainty that you'll able to trade for the next coming 5 years instead of 1 year. We have seen in other sectors like telcos and so forth, where a license can still be more than 15 years to 20 years. So we are still saying with this bill, we can really, municipalities can consider that the renewal process should be after 5 years instead of 1 year to ensure that there's a certainty. We are making provision still in relation to compliance requirements that as much as we are reforming the business licensing framework, you need to observe issues of health and safety standards. And we must also consider that there's town planning that really needs to be, town planning issues that needs to be complied with. The issues of foreign nationals are dealt with in clause 8 are really, we are still referring to the issues of immigration documents that one should able to obtain in order for you to be eligible to trade. And clause 15 and 16 speaks directly to the support for small businesses. The benefit, therefore, for MSMEs, we are talking about the exemptions where one can able to look at certain low risk or home-based MSMEs. We are saying that some of these businesses need to be exempted from licensing. I know that one can say, are you encouraging that people should not comply and trade without licenses, but we are saying that that assessment should have been done to ensure that these are will not able to pose some hazards of or it may able to then cause some infractions in terms of town planning. And then in terms of clause 9, we're emphasizing that this should actually, the bill talks more about the issues of informal settlements and the previously disadvantaged areas, because we have seen that in many cases, businesses within the informal sector, within the informal settlements, struggle to then obtain licenses to trade. So these are the issues that will be dealt with. And then we're talking about preferential licensing, which will simplify and expedite the licensing process. Here we are also proposing that small businesses or micro businesses, one can prescribe for a waived fees or a lower fee so that one can able to trade freely and easily. And then we are also proposing that designated trading areas should also be something that the municipalities can consider. In terms of support and monitoring mechanism, we are saying that national and provincial government should able to support municipalities in implementing this act to ensure that the MSMEs are really assisted. What are the transitional provisions and that one we have to look into? Up until the Business Act, up until the Business Licensing Bill has been enacted, the Business Act of 1991 still in existence. And then the municipalities, once the Business Licensing Bill has been enacted, municipalities will therefore have to adapt their municipal bylaws so that they can really align to the national and provincial legislation. In terms of government support roles, national and provincial should provide technical and financial assistance to municipalities during the implementation of this. And then lastly, we understand that the municipalities are not at the same level of maturity, so therefore there must be a sort of a assistance in terms of financial and administrative capacity that is deployed to assist municipalities. In terms of the summary of key impacts of this bill is that municipalities will have authority over the process and then to license, but at the same time we have spoken about the validity periods of the license. Those are the issues that the bill will be bringing, and there are issues that has to do with the issues of concurrence functions between national, provincial, and local. And then we are further emphasizing issue of capacity building, stakeholder engagement, and system modernization to ensure that the success of the implementation of the bill. In terms of the recommendation for municipalities in terms of implementation of this, we are saying municipalities will have to align in terms of national and provincial legislation. Authorized officers will have to be trained. Dispute resolution mechanism have to be then established. And lastly, the digital infrastructure needs to be improved, or rather, we need to deploy the digital infrastructure that can respond to emerging technologies. And where are we going in terms of this bill? Where are we coming from? The bill was approved by the Cabinet Committee on the 27th of August. Cabinet approved that we publish the bill for comment. And now today we are here for us to consult with you And after we are done with the consultation, as you can see that now we are in the period of November, and in November we are hosting public consultation. This is one of the consultations that we are hosting. What we'll do after this is to analyze the comments and process it, and then present to different clusters and resubmit to cabinet for approval to ensure that really the bill can be processed through the right level of consideration, and then that can ascend directly to the president for enactment. What are we doing today? We are recommending that you provide your written comments and inputs, and then we've also request that you participate in any consultations that we may have, because I don't think this is a once-off consultation. Yesterday we had a consultation, today we're having a consultation, 2 weeks ago we had a consultation. So there will be a number of consultations that we'll be hosting, so we request that you further participate. I think that's what, that was my presentation, Program Director. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Masinge. That was a very good job within a short space of time. Thank you. You still had 2 minutes left. Thank you so much for that. Colleagues, can we really give him a big round of applause? Now we are coming to the gist of why you are here. We are going to give, call colleagues who are going to come here. They've given us their written submissions, just again to give us a feel of what people are feeling or are saying about the bill itself. Then immediately after them, we're going to go to the floor and make sure that all of you or some of you engage, because the purpose of why we're here, we want to engage. I'm going to call Mr. Aaron Mohapelo to come forward. I'm going to call Ms. Roshida Mula to come forward. I'm going to call Ms. Noktula Makosliso. She's already here forward. And then I'm going to call Ndodana Hadebe from Texas. Please, colleagues. Once the colleagues are being seated, we wanted to recognize the chairperson of the portfolio committee, Masifako Dikhale. She is joining us online. Thank you so much, ma'am, for gracing this occasion. Thank you. Colleagues, I've never worked for radio, so I'm not going to pretend to be a radio host. But we're just going to start with Mr. Mohapelo. He will just tell us what is their position as NAFCOC.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Greetings to the Minister, to our colleagues from other business chambers, and the members at large. I'm not sure if I should stand up or I can talk while I'm sitting down. You know, because I was put in a lion den. We only knew about this gathering not so long ago. As entrepreneur, we don't sleep, so I had a short time to prepare. But nevertheless, when you look into this bill as NAFCOC, we realized that it's actually talking to us. Because, Minister, this is long overdue. If I were to give a gist of a thing, is that this ministry was not there for a long time. And as NAFCOC, we played a very huge role in the formation of this ministry. We contributed immensely in drafting a proposal to the government that this ministry must exist. And indeed, at that time, government did listen and they formed the Department of Small Businesses and Development. And the reason why we pushed and forced the government to form this ministry is because of we were struggling a lot back then as small businesses, where you have to move around. SARS is there, you register a company there, the Department of DTI is there. So we pushed for this ministry to be formed purely because we wanted everything to be under the same house, so that black people, they don't have to struggle if ever they want to register their company. To have your SARS tax clearance certificate, it has to take, back then it used to take a very long time to get. To even register your company, it would take close to a month, but nowadays, this nowadays, it takes less than a week to get your company registered. So that's one of the things that I would say we managed to achieve together with the Department of Small Businesses and Development. So as I've said, that this is long overdue. When NAFCOC was established by our forefathers, the likes of Dr. Maponya, Dr. Sem Nsunyani, they fought a different struggle at that time. We were, as always, as we would know, that there would only be that segregation in terms of economy. They fought a struggle where they wanted to be recognized that they should trade within black townships. They were not allowed even to sell alcohol. And we're not even talking about the serious alcohol, we're talking about Mbamba. I don't know, the people, they know Mbamba, you know. It's like Umkomboti, you know, to even sell that, it was not even allowed back then, you know. So they fought that struggle. Now it's up to us, now the current generation, to take that struggle to another level. Because as times goes by, NAFCOC then transformed. People started becoming involved in informal trading. You're talking about street vending, spaza shop, etc. So for us, the generation of today, we realize that we cannot just focus on such businesses. We need to, through this bill, we realize that it can assist us to join the mainstream of the economy. When you talk about the mainstream of economy, we cannot always be talking about tenders. You apply to do catering, you do security. You know, we're talking about crumbs. We need, there's our country has a lot to offer. And lately, the universities are flooded by the learned or by students. After they've studied, there's no jobs. And guess what? We are the majority of the people who are the end users. So we should move from being the end users, but to the producers and to the inventors. So with this bill, we feel that we are able to achieve all that. So, Minister, I put into you that we actually have a whole lot of work to do when you're talking about business licensing. We have members all over the country. You go to Kimberley, we once fought for the Zamazamas to be taken seriously, to formalize what they were doing. And they were given mining rights to operate on a small scale at that time. But now that has changed now. The police, the soldiers are chasing them away. They can't use their mining rights now. And they used to make a living out of that, those Zamazamas. They were illegal, but we fought for them that government must recognize them. So they kept and regulated them, and they complied. We assisted them as NAFCOC. Now all of a sudden, they can't operate. Most of them, they are back on the street now. You go to Kimberley, Khalishiwe and other areas, now they are back on the street, those entrepreneurs. Because now the business has been taken back from them. So, Minister, we'll be doing a submission as NAFCOC as well to beef up this bill. When you go to West Coast, we have a lot of sailors who have cooperatives, who are doing fishing. It's a disaster. They've been given fishing rights or even quotas that they can only do in fish. They can do fishing on an old way of fishing. They are not allowed to use certain vessels. They are not allowed to even fish certain species. Not long ago, we're assisting them to engage with the Department of Forestry and Fishery to actually convert and consider their fishing rights as to how it's minimizing them to explore other method of fishing. They can't make any living out of it. So without saying a lot, Minister, we're going to do a submission so that we can beef up this bill, because there's a long way to go. As Black people, we want to join the mainstream of the economy. There's energy, there's finance, etc. So we're quite happy about this initiative, and we want to be part of this revolution. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I like the fact that you call it a revolution. Thank you so much. It's really a revolution. Now we're going to hand over to Ms. Muller to give her 5 minutes. Say that again? The mic is here with you.
Assalamu alaikum. Good evening. Malweni. Greetings, all informal, micro, small businesses. I am Rashida Muller, and I am the chairperson of the Cape Peninsula Informal Traders Forum in Cape Town. I'm also the chairperson of the Western Cape Informal Traders Coalition, and I'm also the national president of National Informal Traders Alliance of South Africa. I needed you to know that. All protocols observed, Minister, and your entire department, and of course, SETFA. Yes, like our previous speaker has indicated, we had a little late notice, but in this room are sitting the members of at least 30 organizations from the Cape Peninsula. We are here as the informal sector. And I'd like to open with a sentence. We believe that the informal sector is the biggest employer of business. Whether we start as a go-go with a pocket of onions, a box of tomatoes, and some bananas, or we have the magonias and everything on the streets, that is business. And I want to thank the minister and her team that she has acknowledged the sector. The informal economy is well over 6 million people. We're not only the informal traders and the spaza shops, we are the waste pickers. We are the home-based workers. We are the domestic workers. They are all in business informally. We are the taxi drivers. We have the e-hailing constituencies. And we are proud to say that Nitasa has been invited to the G20. So we definitely recognize and we do thank you, Minister, for you have always indicated that the informal sector should be part. Sometimes, I say that the informal sector is the invisible economy. But we're not going to allow it to be invisible anymore. You can see tonight the turnout of informal sector businesses. And you might be 30 or 40 here tonight, but you represent in Cape Town alone 95,000 informal traders. That's without the waste pickers, without the home-based workers, etc. Acknowledge us for who we are. No matter how micro we are, we say in our slogan, nothing about us without us. So you see, the leadership is talking. We have the chairperson of Dunoon, we have the chairperson of Belleville, we have the chairperson of Grand Parade of Gatesville, Greenpoint, Guguletu, Yandisa, I haven't forgotten Langra, Googs are here, Barbara, them are here. So Atlantis is here, everybody's here. So I am so proud to be able to sit here on your behalf and engage on this bill. This bill, and I'm so glad to have met our portfolio committee member for small business. I've already taken their details, don't worry. The city of Cape Town, who's sitting next to me, never heard of him, never spoken to him, but he'll soon know who we are. Because that bill impacts on us. That bill prevents us from our economic development and growth. Now, 2 weeks ago, confiscation, eviction, fines being issued to our traders who are trading on the road for 40 years. We're engaging the city of Cape Town about it. The Tuesday we have a Teams meeting. The Friday this man is evicted. Goods confiscated. He had to pay fines to take it back. We do not accept things like that. Many of our gogos and our mamas and our papas are sitting here, and we have our foreign legal traders here as well. Am I right? Mohammed, you here? Yeah. Mohammed is there at the back. He's a leader in Wynberg for the informal traders. And they are legally here, and they need their protection. They are really under severe pressure. Being here 15 and 20 years and say, sorry, you have to leave here now. I'm putting a new trader in your place. What's going to happen to him that has been there 15 years? So our input is vital. We need to look at all the red tape. Remember, Business Act 1991. When did we become a democracy? 1994. So this is a draconian old bill that needs to be replaced. Well, our minister, and our department, the HOD, has put in place today. We will submit our input as the informal economy of South Africa, representing waste pickers, taxi drivers, domestic workers, and the informal sector. I thank you, Minister, for having and acknowledging us.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Mr. Hadebe, we are combining thorns and roses. We want another thorn now.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm so sorry. Some of us, we come from the civil society, even though we are in business. A lot of people is not mentioning civil society. I'm going to speak standing. I'm so sorry for those I'm going to offend, but to be fair, I will honor the minister here in front of me. I made my learned friend somewhere else. So when she started talking about chairpersons, the political side starts kicking in. That's why I said I'm from the civil society. I'm the national deputy chairperson of the new civil society launched by Kagiso Trust, which is now countrywide in every province. Some of you in the district. It's got a lot of NPCs under that one. And then now, because we have a top NEC, which is top 7 in each province, we are running also non-profit companies under those NPOs. And also then President Peggy Twala wanted me to run Texa. Then I told him, I don't live in the township. I'm living in the suburbs. So how can I be a chairperson of a township economy? And then he's been forcing me for many years to come over. And then only last month, I agreed to take over the position again. And then we have to move roles. So I'm going to speak and I ask them to write me so that all of us, Minister, we are here to support you. I'll start with, in the beginning, greetings to you, including the Minister, Director General, executive leaders, stakeholders, colleagues, business people. And when I say business people, some of us were business people because you have a company, but you have a zero in your account. And that must change. Why, as a Township Economic Council of South Africa, all township business must belong to township people. All the people who don't have businesses, who come from other places, they want to trade in the township, must partner with somebody from the township. This is what you're going to submit. Because this economy is 900 billion rands in every township. We walk in there and you see other business which are not supposed to be there. We see all these big supply chains. They're taking the money from our people and they never put back anything there. So now we're saying as Texa, we are not going to allow that. And Minister, we support you. It's about time that it came that you make all these departments to come together. Because I can tell you now, I've got many trainings. Some of you know from trainings. I've been trained to be a business coach. I've been trained to be this. I've been trained to be that. To be an entrepreneur, I keep on going training, capacity building. And you are training me. But there is no money coming. I go back home, I have a zero budget. That needs to stop. It can never be like that. So we are going to support this bill. And then also we're going to submit. We support you fully. As also coming from Texa in the Eastern Cape, which is one of my honored friend, Kamisa Tengile, who's also supporting you, Minister. She said, I must make sure that I support you as Western Cape. We have a chairperson, like they were mentioning, all the chairpersons of townships and all of that. We also have that now. We have provincial chairpersons, we have township chairpersons, we have coordinators in each suburb, so that all those businesses are registered. You're not going to be left behind. We refuse to go with Texa without you going forward. Our president fought so many years. He's been to many social media platforms talking about businesses. Now we are not saying we don't want no training, we don't want no funding. We want you to build us a business. We walk in, take the keys like the minister is doing, and we run the business. Then you support us. Don't give me money, then I'll do other things. And then we recommend that the licensing is very important on the micro clause, which is bill number 6. The act must be tied with license models that simplify the compliance for informal traders, which they are talking about, home industries, micro entrepreneurs, requiring the same documentation as formal corporations, exclusive to strengthen the red tape so that everybody who registers a business takes time. Myself as a business person, I was there at the Cape Town station, my elected friend. Yeah, if you look there up in the taxi rank, I was the biggest Chisanyama there. Then COVID hit us, which everybody never knew. And my sign is still there after 7 years after COVID. But they are not removing it there by PRASA. It's still there. So what you are talking about is exactly what I concur with you. So after we leave here, after this bill is regulated, and everyone is now regulated, then we're going to start step by step. We say, okay, the trading areas like they want to do, that they're going to be, there's going to be exclusive zones specifically for different businesses. But people forget that if you take those perfumes and you sell to others, you're a business person already. People, they don't consider you as a business. You just, you have your own work, then you do your own side business, and they don't count you. I don't know what they count, what they call you if you are working and you are doing a side business. I don't know if it's a side chick business, I don't know. Okay, then the last thing is the rural economy. We're ignoring people from the rural areas, farmers and all of that. So all of that, us as Texas, we're going to penetrate those areas. We're going to be there in Atlantis. They talk a lot about Atlantis. We'll be there as Texas. We'll have people supporting you and making sure that you don't, if your business starts, it cannot close down. It has to continue and be something like that. So I'm cutting some of the things because my 5 minutes is going to end now. With that said, again, Minister, we emphasize it takes again and again that we support you. What you've done is amazing. Can you continue doing that? But please don't fund people. Build businesses. Make them ready. And then hold the keys and see who qualifies. Then you walk in there, give the person keys and start working. If you have to employ the staff for the person, do it. Because the one mistake we do as entrepreneurs, you want to be HR, you want to be finance, you want to be compliance, you cannot do that. It's not your role. As a business person, you must be business. Your mind must be running as a leader. You can't be also sweeping in the floors. You can't be also cashier. You can't do all of those things. Then you have to look for funding. Then you have to go be trained. No, it has to stop now. Be a business person, be a leader, and delegate people to do the work for you. South Africa will change. Everyone cries and say, there is no money, there is no, man, the money is there. Go to the township and see how much money is spent on taverns, money spent on hair. People are spending 2,000 hair. Where does it come from? So that economy of the township, you cannot touch it anymore. It's none of it belong, it has to belong to the correct hands. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Texa. Now the last one from another Rose.
Thank you, Program Director. I'm assuming you saved the best for last. Good evening, colleagues. Minister, a very good evening to you, to your constituencies that are sitting here, your team. Come this way. Thank you for having this platform for us. Like my previous colleague has said, we love you and we support you. Is this going to be a problem? I kind of need my one hand for my speech. It's very important. We live in a democratic country. We live in a democratic country that prioritizes the voices of persons in South Africa. Not only our citizens, but everyone who lives in it. We don't get a lot of constitutions that claim that that country belongs to everyone who lives in it. Of course, those who are legally living in it. So we appreciate the opportunity to be able to give our voice to the formation of the laws that will further govern how businesses are run going forward. We appreciate the political will that this department has for redress and transformation. And for that, we salute you. Enkosi. My name is Notukela Makotliso. I am the Deputy Chairperson of the Western Cape Black Disability Forum. I sit in the board of the Western Cape Network for Disabilities. I am a founder and executive director of the NFI, which is an organization that works with persons with disabilities. That is some of the things that I do. I think most importantly, I am a child of God. I love God loudly. I am honored today to represent a sector that is often unseen and often very forgotten. This department has decided not to ignore us, and I'm grateful for that. You know, we have a hierarchy of the disadvantaged in our country. Our country is the most unequal economy in the world. And right at the very bottom are persons with disabilities. And you know, our former president, Rolihlahla, said, poverty and inequality are human-made problems that can be overcome by human actions. These are the actions that will overcome them. I have a submission, Minister, that is 8 pages. I only have 5 minutes today, so I'm going to go through them very quickly. I was quite happy when the minister said, let's read the preamble, because when I read this draft bill, I felt within the preamble, because some people are lazy to read. Some people just read the preamble and think they got the gist. So this act, this bill is very silent on issues or on the promotion of persons with disabilities, particularly entrepreneurs with disabilities. So my first proposition is for us to add within the preamble that, and whereas it is necessary to promote economic empowerment of entrepreneurs with disabilities to ensure their equitable participation in the mainstream economy, not only doing small jobs, but real economic inclusion, meaningful inclusion. That's the preamble. In summary, my submission, which I will send to the department, first of all deals with clarity and recognition. We need the explicit naming of entrepreneurs with disabilities if we are committed to real inclusion, transformation. If we are quiet on these things, the generation that comes after us would have failed them. So this bill, I understand in this department, the employment of persons with disabilities is less than 2%. So we are taking advantage of this opportunity to speak for ourselves. Mention us by name. Mention us by name. Define entrepreneurs with disabilities. Second thing, accessibility. We need to mandate, this act must mandate the processes and the infrastructure to be accessible from the onset. We are currently struggling because it's difficult for us to get around. If we are to benchmark internationally, developed economies like America, You do not get a transport business license if your car is not fully accessible. That means wheelchair accessible. So I would love to see this, Minister. I know it doesn't happen overnight. Perhaps we could then phase it in that by such and such a time, a business will not be able to get a license or renew a license if they have not met A, B, C, and D. And failure to adhere to that, it has to be punishable by law. It has to have a hefty fee. In Canada, businesses, I'm focusing a lot on the private sector, but I'm coming to government. In Canada, businesses that employ more than 15 people must have by law an inclusion paper or policy. And failure to adhere to it is punishable by a hefty fee. Minister, I want this act to have teeth, to be able to monitor, to be able to take a stringent action against people who do not employ us, who do not make sure that our businesses do business with them. Market access. It's very important. We always say that we don't see people with disabilities, we don't know where they are, and so on. We are not encouraged. It is too hard. There are too many attitudinal, there are too many infrastructural barriers. It's hard. But I would love, and I imagine this act to be something that can encourage us to start our own businesses. Not only to encourage us through incentives, to empowering persons with disabilities and closing the skills gap, but also punishing the public sector and the private sector when they do not do what they ought to do, which is to include us. Minister, please, give them a hefty fine, send those fines back to us and empower us, please. One day I would like to be Dr. Makotliso. I'm just introducing one of the ways that we can do it, that we can put money back into the sector and be able to close the skills gap, because we always miss our targets because we talk of a skills gap. We are here, we are willing, we are able. Do not be fooled by disability. It is just a term. Minister, I would love for this act to give us an economic advantage, prioritizing our licensing, giving us waivers because we don't always have money. Most of us depend on the security disability grant. We are right at the very bottom of the poverty line. Help us to help ourselves. Give us economic advantage so that we can have true economic inclusion in the not so far future. I think my 5 minutes is up, and me, I have 8 pages here. I can continue. And in closing, I would like that we expand the meaning of disability here, where it talks about, in chapter 1, where it talks about the Employment Equity Act. I would love it to please include the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, because South Africa is a signatory to it. And that instrument is the one that informs the African protocol, and this instrument by now should be domesticated into the rights bill in South Africa, or the, what is it called? into the rights in South Africa. That bill gives us an enhanced definition of what it means to be an entrepreneur with a disability. I thank you.
Thank you so much. Can we give a round of applause again? Can we please clap to this amazing panel? Minister, we wish we were going to be here the whole night. I think all the inputs are exciting. Colleagues, we just want to take per row, one person, if that's possible, and then take 3 persons or 3 people in the online platform so that we can conclude. I'm sure we'll end with Honorable Kroger. Okay, is there someone who can help us? We're gonna start with this gentleman.
Evening, and thank you for the opportunity. My name is Naeem Francis. I represent Gatesville Informal Traders Association as the secretary. I would like to ask the minister, the Western Cape and all its glamour that it presented earlier on, there's very little truth to be found in there. It would have been brilliant if someone like Lance Greiling and James Voss could have been here. And I'll tell you why. There's engagement processes which holds governments accountable, such as this. We have stakeholder engagements and public participation sessions with the City of Cape Town. The City of Cape Town unfortunately has a culture to ignore what makes them uncomfortable. I wrote a case study on informal trading. I'm busy. It morphed into a dissertation that I'm about to submit around municipal management failures. What I find interesting is that when we are in the room with politicians and the good aside, they thrive on being called the aldermans and the councillors and the mayors. Our mayor, I've called on him for over 2 years to meet with me. I wrote a 16-page submission on stakeholder engagement and public participation when inputs were requested. The city failed to consult and also to comply. The city passed an informal trading bill in Gatesville which excluded us from participating in sub-council meetings. The councillor, Aslam Kasim, is absent. The councillor says, I fight with him. So if what I'm doing right now is fighting, then guess what, then I'm a fighter. And I'm okay with it. I'm totally okay with it. So I got summoned to the mayor's office about a couple of months and a half ago on a Friday afternoon under the guise that we were going to meet with formal business in Gatesville. So when this meeting speaks about stakeholder participation and stakeholder engagement, there need to be a definitive expression to the Cape Town sector on those things, and I'll tell you why I say that. When the bill was, the informal trading plan was adopted, our submissions were very, very, very sanitized. Any and all inputs from formal business ends were verbatimly expressed in there. What we do find strange is, and the minister mentioned it earlier on in her address, when she spoke about water, we have a predominantly female element of informal traders in our sector. Our informal trader females on a Saturday spends between 10 and 12, sometimes 14 hours in the field without a toilet. Without a toilet, yet if we scrutinize the little books that the city of Cape Town blows money on, then you find in there of the criteria is there needs to be running water. When it comes to certain sectors, we have a fish market that has a heritage status that has been there for forever. And when I raised it, and I'm going to mention this lady's name, her name is Hilary Joseph. She works in AED, Air Economic Development. When I raised it in this closed meeting in the mayor's dining hall, she said to me, stop. And I know I'm on time. What I would want to say to this is that politicians must not think that because we are informal traders, we are stupid. Number one, we are not. Politicians must also think that we are not sufficiently empowered enough to hold our own. We were approached by political parties to join up with them, and we refused. We've been doing this under Gatesville Informal Traders Association, but we ask one question in this little pamphlet that you have here, and thank you for affording me the time, where we say, what are your views on the feasibility and readiness of municipalities to implement and maintain a centralized digital business licensing database? We are experiencing service delivery failures where if our trader pays today, going to pay today, and the month ends on Friday as an example, and the portal is off, on Monday, they begin the process of revoking the license of that trader. Now, how do we deal with this? I'm only in this for a short while. I started in 2020 when the city had a rumor there's
you,
COVID
sir.
on a pavement. Sir, it's important that I just highlight the contradictions within this document.
No, we'll have written submissions.
Yes, but now that is what I want to say to you. It's also totally unfair that we find on the day when we attend sessions to be given a piece of paper, to listen to whoever speaking there, to apply our minds, and then input it on a piece of paper. It is not fair. You people had the luxury of time afforded to yourselves to apply your minds, to present to us. The lady that was here earlier on and spoke about job securities and job increases. We've lost 5 traders in the space of 6 weeks because the system, the city has failures in service delivery. So I ask you, sir,
you.
I
Thank you,
understand you're an alderman. Please ask Gordon Hildoers, Lance Greyling, James Voss to meet with Naeem Francis and Gatesville Informal Traders Association because we are not going to disappear. The city of Cape Town
Thank
works
you.
for a few.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Sorry for that. Thank you, well captured. Thank you. Can we go to that lady?
Thank you. May I request to sit because I want to read from where we wrote the
Please
submission.
don't make it long, please.
Okay, thank you. I'm not going to make it long. I just want to thank and extend my sincere appreciation to the Minister of Small Business for initiating this broad and inclusive consultative process on the business licensing bill. It was a very great decision. Our submission from the women in infrastructure, water and energy is based on this context. According to State South Africa, from 2012 Minister to 2024, it says black women continue to experience the highest unemployment and poverty rates in South Africa, and they remain underrepresented in ownership and enterprise. Without specific inclusion mechanism, this bill again is still risk reproducing structural inequalities rather than dismantling them. So therefore, our recommendations are just 5. I'll run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Especially for the director who was actually running it
Sorry,
through.
madam.
Equity
Sorry,
and inclusion.
ma'am. With just one comment, just for a
All
minute,
right.
because
Okay.
we have a lot of people.
Okay,
Please.
thank you. Thank you. We are actually requesting for section 4A, equity and inclusion. All licensing authorities must, in implementing this act, apply a principle of inclusivity, equity and redress. At least 40% of new licenses issued annually shall be allocated to enterprises owned and controlled by PDIs, with specific focus on women, youth and persons with disabilities. Differentiated licenses and fee waivers. Amend that section 8, licensing categories. Micro informal enterprises owned by PDIs and women should actually qualify for a simplified process and shall be exempt from licensing fees for at least first 24 months of operation. The minister may prescribe that phase compliance requirements to facilitate transition to the formal equity. For our gender and equity impact assessment, please, Minister, insert the new section 10A before promulgating the regulation under this act.
Thank you so much,
Conduct
madam.
and publish a
Thank you,
gender and
ma'am.
equity impact assessment
Thank you,
to
ma'am.
ensure the
you,
implementation
ma'am.
promoter. Thank you.
Thank you so
We
much.
will do a submission.
Yes,
Thank
sorry
you.
for that. Thank you. Can you go to that row? No, we said one per row, 1 person per row.
Enkosi kakhulu ngicela uniguqulele ulwimi mhlali ngaphambili. Ndinguzoliswa oyinqanawe. Ndingu-chairperson. Andikwazi kubaleka as if mba ndikwispela B xa ndithethayo. Ngelishwa nisinike into less than iyure. Zonke ezinye iyure zezenu. Sisi wam sisi okokuqala ndifuna ukuthi enkosi ndifuna ukuxelela ngendlela unikhumbuze into adla ngoyithetha kumkanikazi wamakhoyi xa ndikule emotion kuyo othi ndiyakubona and ndiyakuva. Ndiyakuva sisi, ndiyakubona. Minister, okokuqala andimbona uminister uyephi? Zange kuyifumana i-compliment kum. Uzayifumana namhlanje. Uyaqala ngqa because uyayideserve namhlanje. Andidlaleli kwi-compliments mina. Isizathu soba ndikunike i-compliment ndiphaa kwaba sisi bathetha ngezandla. Kangangoba mna bendikwinyathelo loyohlaza umeya wesixeko. Ngokuya nomnye weenkokheli zenqanawe siye kule first kuthiwa yintoni first Thursday afika athetha apha ecani kwam engazuthethelwa ndim because akathethi. Kwi-event ebendinayo kaJune 16 bathe abantwana bathetha ngolu hlobo lomfana lala ntombazana ithetha pha asiviwa sisixeko asibonwa sisixeko asibonwa ku-government. Uyaqala ke sisi wami ufumana i-compliment because ndibabone bathathu bethetha beviwa apha. So ubabonile ke namhlanje babangabantu. Sawungena ke kusingaye. Whether you chose uba usinike
Awunaxesha elininzi ke sisi wam.
hayi tata andileqi
Awunaxesha
ndawo
elininzi.
lithathwa
Please.
ngubani eli xesha.
Please, awunaxesha elininzi.
Minister uze kuthi apha ufuna i-input zethu. Sesidelelwe kakhulu yi-City of Cape Town apha kule ndawo. I-suggestion yami yokuqala zizabambini cha. Thatha imali isuke etawuni iye kulaa ndawo sabekwa kuyo. Izakhiwo zemali engangemali esetawuni maziye ezilokishini asisakufuni mna andisakufuna uzedolophini ndihlala eKhayelitsha ndifuna eza building zise-waterfront ziye eKhayelitsha ne-infrastructure andilifumenanga ithuba lofunda apha but le bill yakho minister mayigxile kulonto makusuke imali yabantu bonke iye kwizindawo bahlala kuzo because izoza njani i-tourism eKhayelitsha xa ise-waterfront kuphela sibe thina millions of us much as by stats singayicoverage loo nto siseKhayelitsha eGugulethu enyanga eMitchells Plain singekho se-waterfront. So susani imali yethu because siyavota singilinani mayiye kwiindawo esikuzo. Mna ndine-fight and I don't care. James Fosa bayandazi. I am under personal attack and intimidation. I-container yam itshisiwe ngenxa yokulwela abantu. Sisixeko sibukele. Uyandiva? Ndidiniwe, sidiniwe sisixeko for abantu abanedisability abangakwazi unyuka kwizitezi. Ndabhenwa eholweni because abantu funeka babe nezitezi zokunyuka amaqonga. Sonele, zisani izinto zethu kuthi. Bantu, phumani ngamanani wethu because i-minority government. Masifuneni izinto zethu ngokuliphelile ixesha loba sibe phansi kwabantu sibe phezu kwethu iphelele apha.
Thank you so much. Just a quick translation. She was saying she is pleading with the minister for the money that is now invested in town, invested in urban areas, to be taken to the townships, because that's where people are. The voters are in the township, and they want the money to be taken there, not in the waterfront. That's the gist. She was also saying she's tired of being intimidated, fighting for people living with disabilities. But she's going to continue the fight. Thank you so much, ma'am. You spoke with passion. Thank you so much.
Good evening, everybody. To our to our Lady of Honor, thank you so much for having a heart for the informal sector. But I want to ask you one favor. We at the Greenpoint Flea Market was supposed to work 30 Sundays from May till December. Whereas we only work for 15 Sundays. Older times when we was there at Greenpoint, we worked with the events that was taking place there. Why would we not trade when there is events? When we visit the parking P4 on Sundays, there's not a car available. Why can't they give us then the track? This month we stop working. We only gonna work 2 days in December and 6 days that we ask for. How come we must stay home the whole month and concentrate on the track? Can you please do me the favor and talk to Lance, talk to Gordon Hill, because he don't want to give us from Greenpoint Flea Market a meeting. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We are now, yes, with her. Yes, you.
Amagwini. Mafaku. Mbokoto. Singabahlali baseKhayelitsha, singabahlali base-Western Cape. Sizawulila. Siyayibona yona i-bill, siyayisupporta. But sinamagingxigingxi athile esicela uba asuswe ecaleni. Ubhuti bepresident aphaya uthi kunemiyingana ezawusiwa kwisixeko seKapa. Into ethetha uba izakwenza i-bylaw yayo as a city of Cape Town. Sibulawa zezo bylaws. Zizo kanye ezi zisengela phansi inkqubela ingabheki phambili. In the Western Cape we've got 2 cities. Sinela cala legugu lethu Khayelitsha Mitchells Plain yotshona ngamatyotyombe aseStrand. Sine Rondebosch. Izimele geqe. Imali yalapha entshona koloni ombandezi aba bakhele ecala kwakho bayise Rondebosch. Sisengxakini ke Mafaku into kokubana kule bill yakho asisafuni into asithembanga nto ku-City of Cape Town. Ngoba kaloku simelwa sizuthi asimelwa nge-City of Cape Town. Kodwa indlela abaphethwe kakubi ngayo oceba abasimeleyo phaya. Asisenathemba ke kulaa nto yase-City of Cape Town. Singabahlali balapha. Sizakucela ke Mafaku izinto ezininzi kuzawufuneke niqinisekise nge-monitoring. Nizi-evaluate. Niqinisekise into yokuba wonke umntu uyaxhamla. Utshilo usisi pha into kokubana sivota sonke akho mntu uvotelwa ngomnye umntu apha. Ingxaki inye ke Mafaku into kokubana asazi noba isono sethu bubumnyama jikelele apha entshona koloni. Kuzawufuneke ke njengabantu abangabaphathiswa abaphambili abasimeleyo kula manqwanqwa nincede nisincedise okulweni olucalucalulo lase-Western Cape. Luthethayo ngokaMasumba suka ANC Women's League ku-Regional Secretary. Ngiyabonga.
Thank you so much. She is asking the minister to intervene because the councillors who are representing them in the municipality are not being treated right. She is also saying Cape Town is a city of 2 cities. One that is in Rondebosch and the one that is in Khayelitsha, Nyanga, Mitchells Plain and other areas. So she's asking for the intervention. We are now with this lady who's wearing a white Yes, you. Oh, you're asking for your husband, not yourself.
Not your husband, colleague. Yes. Atlantis in the, sorry. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I won't be long. I will be about, say, 5 minutes or less. But anyway, good evening. My name is Saul Smith. I'm from the Atlantis Business Chamber, just down the road on the West Coast. We see ourselves as the West Coast corridor for economic urbanization because, as you know, Cape Town is where they call the economic hub is. Just down the road in the West Coast, where the poverty is at a high level, those people are usually excluded. So we try to be the connection between Cape Town themselves and the West Coast. We've got a membership of about, we used to have 102 SMMEs active in the area. As now we have 47 active members, which I can give you a lot of reasons why. We are also a member of NAFCOC, as you know, and we see ourselves as the driver for economic development in the West Coast. But there are a few things that I have to highlight to the Minister, and that is the fact that implementation of these bills and laws and policies is quite a concern, simply because these laws are very good laws, it's very good to support economic empowerment and development, but the implementation of it, if it's not implemented properly, obviously the people will still suffer. So what I would like to ask the Minister, organizations like us, NAFCOC, we have the potential to change the economic situation in a lot of the communities. But if we don't have your support and your assistance, it's no use for us to run around sometimes with our own money to try and change these things. So what I would like to request to you is, when you have projects like, for instance, in Atlantis, infrastructure development project, which is funded by the state, involve us from the beginning, when the planning stage, where we can be actively involved in ensuring the transformation just don't happen at one place or outside of Atlantis, and then we as the community of Atlantis must pick up the crumbs at the end of the day. Now currently there are billions rands of projects going to start, and we know that we are going to be excluded again. But if you can give us that support, we would appreciate it through NAFCOC that you engage with us, and we can keep you on par and informed, and also get the community get the community buy-in to support your projects locally. Thank you, Minister, for that opportunity.
Thank you. Colleagues, we are going to take two last hands now. Is that gentleman with the red t-shirt and the lady behind her? Sorry, colleagues, we don't have time. Sorry.
Because program Raymond Vitani, Kailicha Business Forum. No, I think Sizayen's input, we're going to do input. I just want to thank the Minister for this opportunity, for extending invite, Nakut. I think that guy that was sitting there in the Bangbam Pagam, sorry to call up with that guy. I know good to put on dial. But I was really hurt when he stand there and says, in the business license with the City of Cape Town, it takes about 2 weeks. I think no, it was an incredible lie, and for sure. Because Tina, one of the reasons why I'm sitting there, Bulele and science input as a follow-up, when we sine sectors we forum, and one of the sectors speaks to this bill, is Paza shop sectors. A Kailisha Business Forum, once we talk about these Paza shops, as stated, only just by the small traders, we speak about the whole retail industry, including your big shops or ShopRite, and how do they filter down, and how does the government assist Omamabe to Abadal. Now, last year, we seen a program, yes, Paza shops, actually, thanks to Usita, he assisted with those people with the tax clearance, CK document, on the spot, on the day. The Department of Health, one of the processes in order for you to qualify as USPAZA is to get a health certificate. Now, the Department of Health, City of Cape Town, is just as across the street, Kusita, like here and there. But what you're getting there is that door is always closed. Now that was December. And the minister came again after that. I think Pango May, I'm not quite sure. Minister announced 500 billion. Yes, Paza shops. Yes, 500 billion. And we quickly, as a forum, we went to Mama, Ilokshini, picked them up. Almost every quarter, in the program, is Payana, collecting 80 to 40, 60. News Paza shops, Abamama, Nabamama, go to Alabama shops. Bring them in. Usita will quickly assist them, seek a document, on the spot, everything gets done. But when you need a health certificate, because the actual form, if you look at it online, it requires you to go and submit a health certificate. When was that? I think it was February or January. Look where we are now, it's December. Still our people are desperate. They're crying. City is not assisting at all. So thank you, Minister, once again, for extending this opportunity for us to come and have this engagement with you. Otherwise, I say, machine.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. The lady.
Hi, evening everybody, evening honored guests. You guys are doing a lot in terms of small businesses. As government, literally, if you open a business, you don't need to give us the perks you're giving us. Thank you very much, we appreciate it. I do small business development. I don't get paid, I don't get funding. I work in the non-profit sector as well. The city of Cape Town works for you if you stay in affluent areas. There was the Group Areas Act. My parents were evicted. Now we have the Group Areas Act wrapped as a present with a bow. And that is when it comes to properties. My concern is, the minute the bill is passed, who is going to control the keys to the safe? Because if that is going to the city of Cape Town, you might as well put the bill in the trash bin. It's not going to work. I work from here, PE, Durban, Matatiele. I don't have support from any government. For the last year, I have mailed the city. Just for space, not for money. We want to put down computer centers for our kids where it's 30 children in a class. For a school of 800, it's across the whole Cape Flats. AI is coming. Our children can't read. Our teenagers leave. They're on drugs. The grandparents are raising their grandchildren because the parents are not present. City, I don't even want to bother. I don't want to bother. If this is what you are doing, thank you very much. It's giving us as small businesses, irrespective of race, color, creed, whether you're disabled, whether you're not, it's giving us. But the minute it is controlled by city with the bylaws, it's not going to work. Sorry, that's my opinion.
Colleagues, we are done with the hands now. Okay, we're going to have this one and the old lady here, and then we close.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and respected elders. There's one thing that we haven't covered, and that is our future. And the reason why I say our future is because we haven't covered the matter of foreigners who is coming and coming and coming. They're not all here, they're coming. So what I'm letting you know from my experience is that through the years, they've come with their euros, their dollars, their yens, and their products to our country for us to buy. So I am totally with Mr. Aaron that said, why do we not build the business, let our people work and employ our people, and then sell our product? So irrespective of whether it's Egypt, of whether it is Turkey, or whether it's China, they bring their things in to us. And for years, for a good 32 years from my experience, I know they've been dumping their junk on us to buy, calling it cheap. Now guess what? If you give our mothers, sisters, aunts and uncles a half a day work in a factory instead of a 350 rand as a grant, then you're giving them more already to build themselves and their futures. Because instead of giving them 300 rand for the day, give them 150 rand for 5 days, over 4 weeks, and we'll see better. But that is happening of the foreigners coming in. They are definitely coming in from their countries of origin with their products of their countries, and they're weakening us. So for now, that is all that I feel is important for us to know, that informal sector is not only about us, it's definitely that we need to consider as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. The last one will be.
Good evening to the Minister. Thank you. I've been trading on the Grand Parade for 47 years. I earned 3 rand a day. Start at 6 o'clock and finish 7 o'clock in the evening. All I'm saying to you, the informal traders have been marginalized by the city of Cape Town. We have people that coming in the taxis early in the morning with my gunya to sell in Cape Town. Why don't they get a permit? Why does the Somalian get permit? Why all other foreign nationals? I got nothing against them. Why do the city allow them to get permits? 90% of Cape Town is owned by foreign nationals. Somalian, Nigeria. Like the minister said, we need to support the women of today. They are the backbone of the city of Cape Town. You get Magunia, you come and sell from morning till 5, 6 o'clock, maybe you can't sell. Then you get other people coming. But there is Strand Street, who I trade by. That place is full of Zimbabwe and Malawi. Tomorrow you come, my sister got a little place. Tomorrow you come, my other sister got a place, and my cousin got a place. You want to give 16 people with a passport. I don't know passport is to be a document. Yes, a traveling document. I've been to Brazil. On the 14th, they came to tell me I must leave Brazil, I must go. Because it's not my country. Let's go back to Durban, to South Africa. That is my country. So who is in fault today? Not us. The government is in fault. The city of Cape Town, you know why? You allow things. We are 7 people who own permit. They come to check, the law enforcement come every day to check. But they never check on you and you. Why? Then they take your stuff away, they don't give it back. The city is to be blamed for what? Cape Town is a garbage. It's not a city. It's a garbage. It's what you call it, Blackberry. If you just walk there, you don't see body. They work till 9, 10 o'clock, but they tell us to pack up 6 o'clock. Yes. Why must we pack up 6 o'clock? But yet you're an African who come from Africa, you can pack up 9 o'clock and live the city like a pigsty. Law enforcement, there's nothing. SEPs, nothing. Metro, nothing. Your people, tourists, they must be careful. Because I protect them on the Grand Parade. You know why? They get robbed every single day. There's about 15 to 20 of them who come from Clark Estate, Elsie's River, pulling chains. There's nobody there to say, hey, catch that boy. What are you doing? Law enforcement is a waste of time. I told the PI today, you better sit with me if you want to become a colonel. Otherwise you won't even get that post. I want the minister to please help the informal traders. There are mothers here who carry their baby in the back, who go to the market. 90% of Zimbabwe and Malawi, that is why our children don't get a job. You go in the tuck shop on the parade, all owned by Somalians. And they employ only Malawian, they don't employ South African. They don't work for underpay, they work for normal wages. That money is going out of our country. Any people that come from Africa, they do not pay tax to the government. Nothing. The money is going to be taken. I can't go to Nigeria every year. I can't afford it. Please, Minister, help us. I will be 79 in a month's time. 1 year, 1 month, I'll be 80 years old. And I want my comrades. I carry the dome pass. I want my comrades. As you spoke about Rob Davis, I'm one of his colleagues that come from Sister Kula. I want you all to help us. I want the ANC to push to help us.
Thank you so much, colleagues. Colleagues, we're just going to take 3 online people and then we hand over to MMC. I think they want you.
Could we
Thank
go
you so
online,
much.
please?
Can you please help us for the first one is Andrew Ward, the second one is Jacob as Martins, the third one is Mkize Tabisile. That's all. Can you please allow them to talk, sir?
Yeah.
You are having earphones. Continue.
Yes, good evening, Minister. Let me start off by saying that it's good to do this consultation. It's good to write the legislation, the regulation, but your system is broken. I'm speaking particularly about people with disabilities. We note, for example, that today the Western Cape government was supposed to participate on the session we had with your officials at 12 o'clock. They were absent. So we've been engaging with SETFA for the last 2 years on a platform that fails to deliver funding to people with disabilities like Comrade Notukela there. Clearly, we need to have a set-aside, standalone engagement, and your DG is well aware of that. We have a current stopgap, temporary solution to the problems faced by SETFA, and it's across the board. It's not only to people with disabilities, it's to black women, it's to black people, it's to SMMEs. And so clearly, Minister, we appeal and we've sent memorandums to the portfolio committee as well. So either we're going to meet separately or we will meet in the portfolio committee. And we will speak to Comrade King Kunene to put us on the agenda. And clearly, Minister, we have to fix this system because people with disabilities has to be empowered, has to be developed, and has to build sustainable businesses. Nkosi kakhulu. Thank you.
Martin, can you please speak?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairperson. Thank you very much, Minister Stella and Tubeni. Good evening, all, and also my colleague Rosida Miller. Yes, Rosida and Minister, the Chairperson of the House is Jacobus Martin from the Western Cape, Chairperson of Outlet Task Force. Yes, I'm so glad I received the invitation to the consultation workshop on the business licenses bill. Yes, Minister, yes, it's very crucial that your office, I think the impact of your office is very crucial when it comes to the municipality to assist the people on the ground, and especially the people in the rural areas. Yes, we got a good relationship with SIDA previously. Now SIDA is not SIDA anymore, is now SETFA. And I might say that we started a relationship, and I must acknowledge on this platform, Minister, Mr. Alex Kunta. I engaged with Mr. Alex Kunta, and that was in 2019. And I don't know, Mr. Minister, why you make the call to took Mr. Kunta out of these provinces. Now he's today the national one. And Mr. Alex Kunta is very hard worker. And he's putting the actions where it belongs. We engage with the Oudtshoorn municipality, and I'm based in the Garden Road. We engage with Mr. Kunta with the municipalities and a few stakeholders. But I think we had a challenge when it comes to the role of the municipalities. We sit now at the moment with the construction policies. We don't have an issue with applying when there's a tender online. We apply, we make sure, and as we said, you was mentioned that the bill already is in the ICU from 1991. Apology. Today is 34 years old. Here in Oudtshoorn, we sit with informal traders. I'm dealing with Rosida Miller for such a long time in informal traders nationally. So I'm also presenting outlet there from the Garden Route. But as I said just now, the construction policy is outdated. It's also in the ICU. And I know your role as the minister. And minister, I might be very crystal clear. I acknowledge your position, your passion out of your office. But please intervene when it comes to the municipalities. I think this municipality challenges is long overdue. Why should the people on the ground, and especially the previous disadvantaged people of this country, we got a constitution, we got the constitution, and we want to obey by when it comes to bylaws, and make sure when it comes to bylaws, we want to commit ourselves and encourage our people to comply when it comes to bylaws in the system on the ground. Please, Minister, from my side, Jacobus Martin, the representative of Outlet Task Force, the chairperson in the Garden Road District, please, Minister, intervene when it comes to the municipalities. I thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you so much, Mr. Martins. Thank you, sir. The last one is Mr. Mkize. Mr. Mkize, can you talk? Is unmuted, but we cannot hear him. Colleagues, I'm sure my lovely panel is going to forgive me because we are really late now. But thank you so much, colleagues. Thank you so much. We want to ask the minister to make the final remarks before we ask the DG and close.
Thank you so much. Let me thank first the panelists that were here. Also thank the participants for the issues that they raised and the inputs that they made. And as we indicated, we're still going with submissions until the 28th. So I know there are people who would have wanted to say something or who would feel like they did not have enough time to go through the bill, so that they provide informed inputs onto the bill. I like it because you're already organized, so you can still get yourselves organized, make a submission in relation to the matters that you want to find expression in the bill. Now, some of the points that are made, they require what we talk to as the township and rural economic development, what is our policy? The policy, yeah, the trader policy. We are in the process of finalizing that. It's going to be tabled in cabinet because others are talking strictly on the township businesses. Yes, because this bill leads to that wherever you are, because licensing happens both in urban areas, in townships and villages. This is what we are trying to address on some of the issues that you have raised. We've listened to you of how you are excluded, including the trading hours that are given to others to say you go there periodically. And this is why we said it is important that we go beyond engagement. Because since our existence after the transfer of the Businesses Act in 2020, we've been relying on engaging with the municipalities when we see this in the media or when we get people to complain. That's why we said it's important that we insert it in the bill so that we have the authority to charge or penalize anyone who's going against the law. So that's why I started with the preamble of the Constitution to say we've got to make sure that if anyone says, especially those that are in government, those that are public representatives and the citizens themselves, if they say they respect the Constitution, they must not pick and choose what they like in the Constitution. This is why now you must participate in this process that I spoke about. So we really appreciate these inputs. We are going to consolidate the record there. We're going to other provinces also to listen to other stakeholders and then be able to formulate a bill that must respond to some of the challenges. But if you are not going to participate, because once that is done, like we had issued last year, draft bylaws, draft standardized bylaws that were issued through COGTA, but some municipalities have not agreed to adopt those bylaws. Again, it talks to the authority. Who is the authority given to? Because municipalities are standalone institutions that are regulated in different forms of legislation. That's why I said this bill seeks to ensure that government is able to participate from local to national. And at national, we'll be able to look at the issues that are common amongst the citizens and the entrepreneurs, and we'll be able to say this is the standard norm that must be followed by everyone. I know that already there are those that are opposing it. If you read papers, you may have seen in the Businesses Day today, where there are people who strongly say, we don't agree, you are introducing BEE. Did you get me? They're saying that. And the reason I went to the preamble is that when we talk about addressing the injustices, it's what the Constitution dictates of us. There is nowhere where we say focus purely on blacks. We're talking about compliance and fair practices, which is what is important to everyone who is trading in any country who has a right to trade. The issue that was raised in relation to non-South Africans or the foreigners, the bill seeks to tackle that. Hence, I spoke about regulating the licensing and being able to set aside certain quotas for South Africans or where non-South Africans should participate in the economy. Because we've got to regulate it. If there's nothing that regulates licensing in relation to non-South Africans, we will not be able to address some of the things that may cause conflict unnecessarily. Because these things are avoidable if we all educate each other and we put the instruments in place. Ladies and gentlemen, entrepreneurs of our country, the real economic freedom fighters, thank you so much for listening and engaging with us. I am looking forward to many submissions that you may submit as we enhance the participation of our people. Thank you so much, Director of the program.
Thank you so much, Minister. Colleagues, I think, please give yourselves a good round of applause. I think, Minister, when you said the first consultation, physical consultation must be Western Cape, I think you made a really, really good decision. Thank you so much. I think it was shown by the passion that was expressed here. DJ, I'm not sure if you...
Thank you very much, Program Director, Minister, MMC, our Portfolio Committee, Chairperson Medihale is online. I know Honorable Kruger was here, also left. HOD also left, and other DGs, those that have joined. I know that I'm told there are executives of other SOEs and representatives from local government, business chambers and civil society, representatives of small business cooperatives, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. And for me to be correct, let me just say all protocol observed. Mine, I know I'm standing between you and dinner and I'm not gonna be long. I was asked just to say thank you. Firstly, let me say I really appreciate. We appreciate all the inputs. And we want to assure you that all the inputs that we got here today, these are not just input. It's not just that we are here just to listen. There are people that are sitting and the people are taking note of the issues because these are real issues that are affecting yourselves and we need to take them seriously. That is why we are going all around all the different provinces. And as we were ranking them, we thought we needed to come here and listen. And all the issues that are coming here, like I have said, they are going to find expression in whatever document that we're going to come with. We have noted lots and lots of issues that are coming from different people that have spoken here. When I say the issues, some of them, I'm sitting here and I'm not exaggerating. I'm sitting here and I'm thinking that I actually nearly missed this opportunity to hear firsthand. It's easy for a DG to be sitting somewhere and say, give a report, what did they say? But again, it's also equally important for me to sit down and be part of the session and hear for myself firsthand the issues that are being raised so that we can be able to take these issues forward. Minister spoke about the department, that we are a department of small business development, the development part, very important. So as we are sitting here, we're not just, about listening and listening. And most of you have seen that this department, we are always out there making sure that we listen and we are able to take these issues back home. So from today, all the issues that we have here, the team is going to sit, the team is going to look through the issues as we are going to be also going to other areas. Mine was just to say thank you very much. And thanks again, Minister, for your leadership, because you made sure that in your busy schedule, irrespective of flights that nearly derailed you, you made sure that you needed to be here to also hear firsthand. So really, Minister, we really appreciate that. And we are going to be able, I know we're not going to be able to take all the issues and they are there, but in one way or the other, there will be issues that we are able to then see. So as we go, I want to assure you that I always believe in the saying that says, nothing about us without us. Very important. That is why we are here to listen and be able to take these particular matters forward. Thank you very much, DTG, for your leadership and making sure that these matters are taken. We are saying as the department, we need your support for us to be able to survive. There is nothing that we can do. We can sit under the aircons and just write policies and just think that maybe this is what entrepreneurs need. But it's important for us to come here and listen so that when we write, whatever that we write is influenced by what we have seen, by what we have listened to, and by what we are taking seriously. I would really like to thank you. Thank you for your cooperation. Thank you for your patience. And thank you for sitting up until the end. I thank you.
Thank you so much, DG. Colleagues, just before you leave, there is food that is going to be served there at the back. Unfortunately, there's one serving point. But please be patient with us. Thank you so much.